All right, welcome back to the Sports Grill live here in Cranberry, Pennsylvania. It's so hard for me not to say Ohio, right? Because we've been doing this in Ohio every time we do it live. But we are in the Keystone State, and I'm joined by one of the guys that I love the most, the guy that we go back with. And we're going to share some stories. Sean Pregibon, the owner of the Sports Grill here in Cranberry. Sean, we talked about it. You're a local guy, a local legend in case of an entrepreneur like myself. You made the jump from obviously Youngstown to Pennsylvania. To keep that kind of Youngstown chip on your shoulder, the kid from Youngstown, what did that mean to you to make that jump from one state to another and have the same success, if not more, over here? Because that's not an easy jump to make.
Well, yeah, and great question, DJ. Thanks. And first, let me say thank you and welcome to Cranberry, both of you.
Yeah, baby.
Thrilled to be here, no doubt.
I see you guys all over town because we still live in Youngstown. But I was joking with Steve earlier when we reached out a few months back and started talking about doing a show here. When we first opened here in Cranberry, it was September 28th, 2012, but it was 10 years ago. So we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary in Cranberry, over 10 years in Youngstown. So a total of about, over 2 decades in the restaurant business. So, but the first week we opened, Steve was back at that corner table.
Scott Rourke and the crew.
Yeah, Scott Rourke, one of my buddies. I played golf with Scott at the Lake Club a few weeks back, and I see him all the time. Actually, and props to his son Colton, who's the quarterback for Springfield.
Yeah, they had a phenomenal season.
Yeah, kind of abruptly came to an end the other night, but we're great buddies. We went to Woodrow Wilson High School together. So, but Steve was here 10 years ago. One of the first week we opened, unannounced. We had no advertising, and as he said earlier this morning, there was a line out the door.
Yeah. Oh my gosh!
And these Cranberry folks, they've welcomed us with open arms. They knew about my concept. A lot of them had been to the old place on South Avenue and the original place in the Boardman Plaza. And unbeknownst to me, because back at that time I was working, and I had to, as you know, DJ, starting your own business, 120, 140 hours a week. Your eyes are bleeding.
He'll take 120 if you can get him to 120 for all the time he puts in a day.
Right. Your parents call you crazy and they don't understand it. And, you cry every night with your wife and you have no money and you literally put everything on the line. And now I consult and I'm a mentor for a lot of guys getting started. And I said, as my mentors did for me, they said, unless you're willing to sleep on the sidewalk, don't even think about it.
Yep.
And it clicked with me what that meant one day. And me and my wife and our future family, we were willing to do that to start the business. And all the guys back in Youngstown, great buddies of mine that own the local spots, Carana and Cafe Capri and Albie and Joey Cassis and all these guys, that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
I just made a conscious decision. In Pittsburgh, DJ, going back to your question, was everyone told me I was crazy, but it was a natural transition for me. My dad, where I actually learned to cook, my parents got divorced when I was in 3rd grade. So in our house, if you were hungry, my mom was working 3 jobs to support us, me and my sister. If you were hungry in our house, you had to cook it.
Yeah.
So in 3rd grade, growing up, I was making, macaroni and cheese and French toast and making breakfast for my sister, watching Saturday morning cartoons back in the day. So I tell people this, but in 4th grade home economics class at St. Matthias Grade School, I made our entire class French toast because I knew how to make French toast in 4th grade. And it's still to my this day, one of my favorites. So moving to Pittsburgh from Youngstown, my dad moved to Pittsburgh after they separated. And so he lived in Oakmont, Fox Chapel, the last 25, 30 years here in Gibsonia, right up the street. So I've been coming to Cranberry and the Pittsburgh market most of my life, so very familiar with it. And, of course, the sports and, it's one of the sports capitals of
I think it is.
Of the world.
It doesn't get the recognition that I feel it should get.
Yeah, and, and we came to town, it's the Steelers. In Youngstown, you think Steelers, Pittsburgh. And quickly they told me it's the Penguins, our number one, Steelers, Pirates. But, World Series, we just had the Phillies in the World Series last night. It didn't go their way, but, great representation. The Steelers fans, and as we talked about before the show, guys, within 10 miles of this restaurant in Cranberry, we have the 5 of the top elite high schools in the area. We have Seneca Valley. We have Pine Richland right up the street. We have Allegheny High School. We have Mars High School. We have North Catholic High School, which is, the Cardinal Mooney of Cranberry.
Right.
And we've been a little lucky too. I'll talk about that for a brief second.
Sure.
But when we moved here 10 years ago, 2 years after we opened, a guy named Mario Lemieux.
Who?
He's pretty good. Didn't he win a cup or a few?
Pretty good golfer, right? Is that what he does?
He is a good golfer. So he decided to build 2 miles up the road from us here in Cranberry, a state-of-the-art, brand new Penguins practice facility, double ice rink, that they have local tournaments and traveling teams, and all the Penguin players have moved out here to Cranberry.
Yep.
So we get a lot of them in the building. We've got a great relationship with the team.
That's awesome.
Do a lot of sponsorship. I told you earlier, right before COVID, when they won the back-to-back Stanley Cups in their private event room here, we had the team and the guy with the tuxedo come in with the white gloves, and we had the cup here 2 years in a row.
They didn't let you hold it, did they? I would hope that they.
I learned quickly that you can't kiss it.
No,
unless you're a player or a coach.
Come on, this is the center of attention right here. The sports grill. You should kiss it.
We snuck in a few smooches.
That's good to hear.
But I wanted to, pour some beer on the top and drink, but they certainly wouldn't let us do that. But he built a $75 million state-of-the-art hockey arena right up the street.
Yep.
A year after that, North Catholic High School just built. They moved from the city and built a $55 million state-of-the-art high school up the street from us. So as the newspaper article said this week, as my son Nick is behind us with the Cardinal Mooney soccer team, he had 3 goals, a hat trick the other night.
Awesome. We'll get to Nick. I
Proud
can't wait
papa
to talk
right
to him.
here.
That's a proud papa.
Yeah.
He's sporting in which he should. We'll get to that. State semifinals. That's awesome.
Yeah, but right place, right time. So you could argue the same thing with my business. But I wasn't afraid to come here to Cranberry. It took a lot, but I thought it was just the natural progression of my business. Boardman Plaza, a couple years.
Sure.
South Avenue, 10 years. And now Cranberry for 10 years. And again, I've just chose to run my restaurant like a business. I've got a great team of managers and staff behind us here, behind the wall. The property is magnificent. We're close to everything, the highway, the arteries, with 76 and 79 right here. So we're very accessible and easy to get to. The Dick's Sportplex you see off the freeway coming in is only 2 miles down the road. A lot of great golf courses. We support the local high schools here. With Seneca Valley, we feed the teams, the athletic directors. We just had the Freedom girls soccer team. They won their championship.
Okay.
They were here Friday night in this room here with all the girls, the trophy, the coaches, feeding the team, and they wanted to come here after their championship game. So neat for us. And then for Youngstown, as you see around the building, especially in the dining room, we still have, there's the Youngstown State football helmet hanging at the host stand. Coach Narduzzi from Youngstown, Ursuline, his helmet is signed in the front cabinet. Him and his family are here probably once a month. We had his son's graduation party here. And all the local Youngstown football helmets are in the dining room. So the Mooney, the Struthers, Ursuline, everybody's in the dining room. And we're still representing Youngstown. After 10 years here, this is the really cool and funny thing, is everyone still to this day, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 tables from Youngstown every day because they come here to Cranberry to shop or see a game or play a hockey game or anything like that. And they're traveling through, and again, the main arteries with the freeways here. So I'll get texts and calls often, or I'll see somebody here that I haven't seen in a while. Hey, we want to come check out the new place. I'm like, the new place? Yeah. I'm like, we've been here 10 years.
Yeah.
And everyone, it blows their mind. They're like, 10 years? There's no way. Like, we just remember being on South Avenue or in the Boardman Plaza eating bacon ranch fries or watching an Ohio State game or the big Buckeye parties we used to have. Speaking of which, I mean, obviously Penn State and Pitt are huge here. But we have an affiliation with the Pittsburgh Ohio State Alumni Association.
Okay.
They come here and watch the games. We have the Florida Gators Alumni Association.
That's awesome.
And as we talked about, Cranberry is such a transient area where people from all over the country have moved here with their families or relocated for the jobs here in Pittsburgh. So with 47 TVs here and the NFL Sunday Network, we don't just play Steelers. We have a Browns backers group, 20 or 30 guys every week with the dog mask on. They come in to watch the Browns games. We have Buffalo playing. We have Buffalo guys sitting at the bar right now. Dallas Cowboy fans, San Diego Charger fans, Seattle Seahawks. They come here to watch their
This
games.
place gets rowdy.
Yeah. So it's not just Steelers and it's not just Browns. We're all fans of different sports and different teams.
Sure.
So I think you just have to respect that. And we're one of the few places in Pittsburgh that you can come to because the Steelers Nation is strong and very loyal.
Yeah.
And a lot of restaurant bars in this area will only play a Steelers game. And I understand that, but we don't.
But with fantasy football, it's huge to have opportunities for everybody to see every game, and see their guys. They're rooting for the Steelers, obviously, but there might be somebody in a different game that is the difference between, I don't know, and we can talk about gambling because we're in Pennsylvania, $100 and $200.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right, yeah. So it's really, evolved, not only my restaurant and, again, congratulations to your success.
Thank you.
And the courage to willing to sleep on the sidewalk.
Yes, sir.
You know that. And Steve, congratulations to your success.
Yes, sir.
In your role with the company. And again, we're all here supporting the kids, the families, the schools, the athletes, the coaches, the grades. Let's not forget grades. We'll talk about that with these kids behind me too. But that's so important. And in sports, oftentimes it gets overlooked. But the GPA for these kids and the academic standards that all of these schools, not only in Pittsburgh, Western PA, and Ohio, but everywhere have, very important for these young men and women to, have the family culture and the acumen and the grades to move on to the next level, whether it's D1 or D3 or wherever you're going in life. You got to take the classes and got to have the smarts behind it because, as a business owner, you're not just a cook or a radio host or a show host. You got to do the books. You got to talk to people. You have to communicate. You have to raise a family. You have to find time. You have to compartmentalize all of these things in your life that make up your business.
So let me ask,
not just one specialty.
Off of that, everybody always asks me, okay, well, the CEO of YSN, whatever, right? I got into this because I loved sports broadcasting. I love sports in general. I never got into it to be a business owner. I had a 2.4 GPA in high school. I love the broadcast side of it, but I had to learn everything else on the fly. Still learning every day. Do you still feel like that?
Well, for a lot of people don't know this about me, but I have my degrees in accounting with a minor in economics and finance. So I'm a numbers guy. I was an accountant and an auditor. I worked for Morgan Stanley, Dean Witter back in the day. I was 5 years. I was a stockbroker, financial advisor.
Incredible.
And accounting was too boring for me. It was too mundane. And then I did state auditing. And then finally, I can be a financial advisor. A good friend of mine, Todd Burry, he started his financial company, another Mooney guy.
Mm-hmm.
Todd just texted me last night. Congratulations. He's a great guy. I golf with him once a week at the Lake Club, but great guy. But I was like, okay, this is it. I can now talk to people and use my math skills and all that stuff. But unfortunately, my birthday, 9/11, September 11th, the stock market crashed. And obviously the tragic event that happened, 3,000 Americans lost their lives, really changed the world. And my next paycheck after my birthday was $200 for the month.
Oh.
And then in November, the following was another $200 for the month. The stock market the world was in shambles. We had just got married. We had just bought our house and, had no money. And we just didn't know what to do. But, through high school and college, I worked in restaurants. We had a vision. My wife's, God bless her and her family, Manning Engraving.
Yeah, absolutely. The best trophy place around, no doubt.
Trophy and engraving. So they knew all the coaches and athletic directors in the area. I knew restaurant. I said, let's put together a sports-themed restaurant. I really don't like the word sports bar, and we're not. It's a sports-themed restaurant with homemade food, local food, support the local athletes, coaches, athletic directors. Before you know it, we were willing to sleep on the sidewalk again. That's the third time I said it, but it's the truth. Willing to cry every night and have no money and for the dream, the passion, not the success and the rewards and what comes if you work hard enough and you're successful. We weren't even thinking about that. You're just thinking about surviving. But sharing a good idea that you think you have with other people was really the root of our start. And then along the way, I've had and met great mentors in my life. Eddie Reese, Denise DeBartolo York, John York, Ed Moransky, Jimmy Tressel. I mean,
that's a good list.
Yeah, that's a pretty good list.
Yeah, I'll start crying. But all these people have entered my life. Coach Bob Mansfield, who I talk to every single day. I'm a lucky kid. And again, just willing to work hard. No one's perfect. We all make mistakes. But you filter through information. You work hard, and as long as you're willing, in Youngstown, as we all know, roll up your sleeves and go to work every day, and not listen to the people that say you're crazy or you can't make it or you can't do it or you're too young or whatever it is, whatever excuse. But I'm a very stubborn, hard-headed guy, poor kid from the south side of Youngstown, and I've learned to listen to people that have done it and that are way smarter than me. And I just put the work ethic in. I'm not afraid to work. You guys at the table and these kids.
Oh, yeah.
And the coaches.
Yeah, they don't get the credit that they deserve.
And it's the Youngstown grit. And I see, and I know that's here in Western PA, and I see it with their coaches, their kids, their athletic directors, their families. And these Cranberry families are just like Youngstown people. Just like you and I, mom and dad working 2 jobs, working hard. They got 2 or 3 kids, the dog, the picket fence, and they're not afraid to work and work hard. And we're here to celebrate the victories and sometimes the losses and put the games on for them where they're going to enjoy good homemade food, not your typical sports bar food with all the fried stuff, but a great menu selection, great outdoor entertainment. We were talking earlier with our patio expansion. We have some 3,200 square feet outside on the patio.
We're going to have to check this out
come one
summer night. Yeah.
Sound stage and all that. And again, credit to our staff and
Yes.
our managers who are behind the scenes and they work. And now with all these football games and playoff games with Nick kicking for the football team.
How about that,
and
Deej? Kick for the football team and played in the soccer semis. That's pretty good.
Busy just
Proud
like that.
Yeah,
Well,
busy just like that.
And we got Rocco Turner
Yeah.
here, who state championship, and he's playing basketball now.
Yeah.
And Coach Palermo at Mooney is patiently waiting for my son
Right.
to finish soccer and football so he could join the basketball.
They're pretty good, too.
Yeah, not a bad thing. And I just
basketball,
wanted to say to both of you, first of all, congratulations on 22 years, 20 years here.
Amazing.
The thing that I'm most impressed with you about is Youngstown's always in you. You live in Youngstown. You brought a great business here to all our YSN fans. Come on out. You will not be disappointed in the food or the atmosphere. But I want to ask you, that's why I love the connection with you, because I look at DJ a lot like I did you. I thought he was, I'll be the first one to say, I thought he was crazy 6 years ago. He's like, I have 4 schools. I think I said, you're crazy. Can you help me get some schools? I want to promote kids. I want to be that guy that for the smaller schools that didn't get the Vindicator coverage or whoever it was. He's done that. I think the biggest thing for me, DJ, that I want to say, you two have such strong minds and people don't understand. And you said it best. It's not as easy as you think it is, number one, for a YSN, for a sports grill. But for all those people in Cranberry, from all of us at YSN and those schools, we'd love to be a part of your community. We love to be a part of your school and promote kids. Sean, you said that the best, to promote your son Nick in a state soccer semifinal, to promote, let's be honest, Rocco Turner, state champion in golf. That is outstanding, and that's what we do. But from your end, the food is off the charts. But you and Carrie, to me, brought Youngstown to Cranberry, and Cranberry has embraced you totally, which they should. So from DJ and myself, as we let you go, thanks for the hospitality. We cannot wait to eat the food. Thanks for helping us promote YSN, but we're going to promote the Sports Grill in Cranberry the best that we can because you're top notch.
Well, thank you very much. It's you're going to have some great food today. I'm going to bring out the strawberry ribs, which are Jim Trustle's favorite. Hey, let's I'd be remiss.
Yeah, you have to talk food here.
Please,
for your
yeah.
last.
Well, and first of all, congratulations to Coach Doug.
Yes.
Coach Doug and
got on the plane with them. It was a happy
Yeah.
flight home. It was a great call by Rob Schmidt. That's a football team that you talk about. Cranberry people are gritty.
Yeah.
Youngstown State football is a gritty group that people are starting to take a look at.
Yeah, so he and Coach Mike Tomczak were here a couple months back,
Sure.
but they love the strawberry ribs.
Okay.
Trustle's favorite strawberry ribs. You're going to have those. We got our bacon ranch fries, which have that homemade garlic ranch dressing.
And that's still a staple from the Glenwood days.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Okay.
So everybody from Youngstown, as soon as they sit down at a table, they order the bacon ranch fries, and the women usually get the chicken salad with the
Okay.
garlic ranch.
Yeah, Jen's over there, I think, eating chicken
Yeah.
salad right now. Grace looks
Look
like
at that smile.
she's on the smiles. Hey, you made her happy. She's a Bills fan. She's from Buffalo, so she'll be able to watch a little bit of the Bills here.
Right, yeah.
Cannot thank you enough for number one. and I know DJ will end with you with this, believing in us as a family, as someone that has a son, Mr. Turner here with his kids. That warms my heart to get up on a Sunday and come to Cranberry and promote YSN and promote great people like you guys. Deej, you could close it up with them, but what a great experience.
No, I'm so proud to be here, Sean. We've talked many times and passed in many different directions because I want to be in the circles you're in, and we're in there. And you talk about the list of people that you have, and you're in that list for me, like guys that I can look to and ask because you've been there, you've done that. And in business, to me, what I found out is it's a lot like sports. It's the ultimate sport because guys like us, I was a catcher for umpteen years. You lose your knees, but you don't lose your passion for stuff. So I found the business side of things, and naturally everybody just found us, because you're in it for the right reasons. You're in it to give people a great sit down meal, one that they can be proud of, that nourishes their body. They can go on and do what they do on a daily basis. And that's what we try to do at YSN. We try to promote these kids. And like you'll see, and you've already seen, we're going to let these kids talk about, their role models, their heroes and stuff like that. The X's and O's are great, but the Jimmy and Joes are better than that.
Yeah. And so thank you for the compliment. It's
You're a legend, dude.
Not necessary. And well, it's very humbling, but again, it's just working hard every day. I had a meeting with the Pittsburgh Penguins some 8 years ago, and we were looking at doing another location down at the arena. And with Mario again moving his facility out here, I'm like, there's no need to do that now.
Nope.
So, but anyway, we're in the basement of the arena in the boardroom with all the Penguins management staff, general manager at the time, Travis, who was grown to be a great friend of mine. He's with the Pirates now, but just those connections. And they asked me, they said, well, what are you good at? What's your restaurant good at? And, the quick answer for most people is like, wings or food or whatever it is. And I didn't even think about it. I said hospitality.
Sure.
And that's the passion. So the passion that gets you out of bed every morning at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. And a lot of those guys I referenced earlier, and Steve, it's the passion for doing what you do and us doing what we do. And it's, oftentimes throughout our 22 years, people see my car out there at 4 a.m. or wherever in Youngstown and Pittsburgh. And I get a text, what are you doing there? And I'm like, well,
my job.
Inventory, bookwork, paperwork, spreadsheets, the numbers got to work, all these things. Like everyone just thinks you open at 11 o'clock and the food comes out.
Yep.
And it's like the magic trick, right?
That's incredible.
Well, everything behind the scenes goes into that. But with hospitality, it's the TVs and the right station, and they're all high def Samsung. There's not like a LG anywhere.
Right.
They're all consistent. Our staff, the uniforms, the smiles,
consistency,
the cleanliness.
I love that word.
The bathrooms, we have fresh flowers in the lobby every single day, fresh flowers in the women's restroom every single day. And these things cost money, and it you have to pay attention to it. But it's a little OCD, a little passion, a little
crazy
ambition, crazy. You have to be crazy to work for yourself. And I could sit here and talk all day, so I don't want to bore you guys.
No.
But hospitality for us, the clean tables, the nice furniture, the reinvestment, because once you get going, it's not over.
No.
You got to keep going. And another John Antonucci, owner of Superior Beverage, another one of my mentors and heroes, and a guy I look up to, took me down to Muirfield these experiences I've been able to have are great, but took me down to Muirfield Golf Course and we golfed one day, and beautiful sunshine day. We walked off the first tee. It was a beautiful sunshine day, not a cloud in the sky. And I looked at his son-in-law, Kurt McCammon, who's a great friend of mine.
Palestine boy?
Yep.
Palestine boy, and the Jerry McGee connection, his brother Stan at the Lake Cup.
Yep.
Just great people. I looked at Kurt, and I said, I felt like I just won a game show prize.
Yeah.
And talk about a lucky kid, but we did that. But John sat with me. We went back to the clubhouse, Jack's clubhouse, after we had nice steak dinner afterwards. And I asked him, I said, is there anything you could tell me about your business and your success that, and again, I think we were just on South Avenue there for a year or two. So we're only about 4 years into my business. He said, Sean, one thing I'll tell you. He said, keep it fresh. Now, in a restaurant, you're thinking about fresh food. He goes, no, keep it fresh. Keep their eyes moving.
Sure.
Keep it sharp. Change. Do things. And I'm getting goosebumps, but I knew exactly what that meant.
I'm getting goosebumps too.
And I'm sure his mind's spinning right now and thinking things.
And in life and in business, and I think a lot of those guys I mentioned, and I won't speak for them, but if you stay complacent and you just think that you're on top, and the wind blows harder at the top of the mountain. And I'm not saying on top of the mountain, but you have to keep moving and changing and evolving your concept, your theme, your work ethic, your staff, your people around you, your family as life goes on. And that's one thing I can say to everybody listening, and hopefully it helps, maybe an aspiring entrepreneur or these kids out here and coaches and athletic directors, and certainly yourself. And again, I don't know it all, but I've been very lucky, again, as a poor kid growing up on the south side of Youngstown, as I just saw a Boom Boom at Alberini's the other night, at Ray Mancini. All of these guys, the Stoops guys, Ron was at my house last night. He sat at this table on a recruiting trip for why we were eating fried bologna here. Yeah. We named our fried bologna sandwich a couple years back, maybe 5 years ago now. I renamed it the Mansfield, because when me and Bobby Mansfield would meet at the Lake Club, we would have a fried bologna sandwich, and now he likes it with fried egg on top and American cheese and hot peppers. Our fried bologna on the menu is called the Mansfield. So keep it moving, keep it changing. Don't get complacent, and always think that someone's chasing you, because if you want to be on the top, you got to stay on top. You got to get there, and once you're there, you're not there.
If you want to be number one, you got to train like you're number two, right? That's what I've always been told.
Yeah, and that translates to these kids. Rocco and Nick behind me here. They started off at St. Charles together years ago, and me and Mr. Turner, Dan, we've become great friends. We go on trips together to support each other. And Dan's one of those guys. We were at the Mooney football game at Norwayne the other night. And I'll say this about Mooney and not only just Mooney, but Youngstown. We go there, and it's a home game for Norwayne the other night. Mm-hmm. Their stands, you could have counted them. There's maybe 200 people. The visitor stands,
filled.
An hour and 30-minute drive. Cardinal Mooney, red, gold, and white. We probably had 500 people there. And Dan and Rocco and Turner and their kids aren't on the team, they go to school there. They drove. In fact, they passed us on the freeway. You can't make this stuff up. It's great. But the support, the Youngstown people, the work ethic, all these guys, the Stoops boys, Moransky, Boom, I don't know, Rick Blaze, another one of those guys that supports Youngstown football. And all, we can go on and list all these guys. And they're just guys you want to be like, or you want to emulate their success. And to get there, you have to have the work ethic, because they didn't just get lucky. No one gets that lucky all the time.
No,
they worked hard. We work hard, and maybe we're the next generation, or they're certainly the next generation of doing it. And no matter what you like, you have to have the passion for it, whatever business, whatever industry it is. And I found mine here in the restaurant business. Who would have thought? You found yours. Just, hey, I got an idea. Let's go. And then you have to have the support with the family and your surrounding friends and inner circle. And then hopefully, you put in the effort and the work, and you grow from there. So, but not being afraid to sleep on the sidewalk is
I love that comment.
Certainly important.
I love that comment. That's a great way to end it. DJ, I know you love that comment.
I could sit and talk to Sean for 8 hours here. It's one of those things. I'm just picking things away. But thank you so much for your time. Thanks for inviting us here and having us.
We're a part of your place.
We're so excited.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much.
Glad to have you guys.
We're going to talk to your kid a little bit. I think he's got a little to say, I think. So we'll be back right after this on this Primetime Live special edition, Sunday edition, live from the Sports Grill here in Cranberry. Back after this.